Hello and welcome to this news update dedicated to MMORPGs and multiplayer games. On the agenda, major announcements, significant developments and projects to keep a close eye on. Whether you're a veteran of the genre or just a casual fan, here's a clear and concise summary of the must-know news from this week. In this video's lineup, for the main news, we'll be talking about Aion 2, Guild Wars 2, ReAnimal, Drakantos and Blade and Soul Heroes. As for the quick news, I've got Genshin Impact, Chrono Odyssey, ArcheAge Chronicles, The Elder Scrolls Online and Aska. If you enjoyed the video's content, don't hesitate to give it a little thumbs up before you go, it's always appreciated. Alright, now that we all know the lineup, I think it's time to dive into the news. As expected, NCSoft offered us a stream this Friday, August 8th, dedicated to its upcoming MMORPG Aion 2. This was the second presentation stream for Aion 2. The first one was offered to us at the end of May. This new live broadcast named Aion Tonight was an opportunity for NCSoft to share new information about Aion 2. The studio provided details on the game's development progress and answered players' questions. The studio also showcased new game footage, such as the character creation tool, gameplay in the Fire Temple dungeon, and even some brief demonstrations of flying in the game world. The Aion 2 clips I'm showing you come from this new game presentation stream. Among the shared information, we learned more about the content offered by Aion 2. Let's start with PvP. Aion 2 will offer different types of PvP experiences, such as arenas with 1 vs 1 and 4 vs 4 match formats. There will also be battlegrounds with 8 vs 8 player combat. Time rifts will be present, allowing players to infiltrate the territories of the opposing faction. The Abyss will also be featured in Aion 2. Regarding PvE, I'll start with solo activities. Nightmare dungeons are 10-level boss dungeons with immediate rewards, challenging mechanics, and a ranking system. Sealed dungeons are dungeons with puzzles or riddles to solve and combat. There will be over 60 sealed dungeons per faction. You can access the sealed dungeons of the opposing faction through time rifts. Outposts are areas to liberate from enemy NPCs. These locations are tied to the main storyline. Awakening battles are time trial boss fights with rewards based on your performance. On the group PvE side, here's what I can tell you. Expeditions are cooperative dungeons, like the Fire Temple for 1 to 4 players, offering multiple difficulty levels. Transcendence consists of dungeons for 4 players. They are more difficult than expeditions. There's a tier system and scores based on your performance. Hunting will have you face random bosses with unpredictable mechanics in groups of 4 players. Collaboration between players is essential and there's a limited number of deaths. Sanctuaries are the game's endgame dungeons designed for 8 players. According to the studio, these dungeons focus on coordination and communication, with a high level of challenge. The studio also mentioned that there will be lighter content, such as minigames with Shugos or daily dungeons offering a fast-paced hack-and-slash experience. For character creation, the studio has planned a detailed customization system that allows you to modify the voice, skin, face, including shape, jaw, cheekbones, as well as eyes, nose, mouth, hair, makeup, and body type. Players can share their creations on the official website with the possibility of monetization. Regarding the game's availability on mobile, the studio reiterated that there is no auto-combat, as Aion 2 prioritizes active and strategic gameplay, true to the original. The mobile version allows people without a PC to play the game, but it's more geared toward crafting or mini-games. Dungeons and competitive combat are optimized for PC. A semi-automatic mode is under consideration, but not for infinite auto-grinding. The goal would be to offer slight support for mobile players without compromising gameplay. Regarding wings, the studio stated that they are not pay-to-win. They are obtained through in-game farming, not tied to purchases. They are acquired through farming like any other equipment. It's not a gacha system, nor is it linked to monetization. The design and consistency with costumes are more important than their stats. For skills, the studio explained that it's not just about 8 skills. The system is designed around well-defined roles per class. Instead of chaining numerous skills like in the original Aion 2 aims for more dynamic gameplay with simplified combos and activations. In total, about 40 skills are available depending on the configuration. Skill choices before combat greatly influence the character's playstyle, whether in PvP or PvE. The auction house will use only in-game currency, not purchasable with real money. Regarding optimization, the game already runs on an RTX 2070, but it's not yet perfectly smooth. Optimization work is ongoing. The business model will be explained in detail soon, but cosmetics will likely be one of the main monetization elements. The studio has already made adjustments based on feedback from participants in the closed test conducted a few weeks ago. The next live broadcast is scheduled for September. The goal is still to release Aion 2 by the end of the year in South Korea. As a reminder, the international release is planned for next year. These are the many details about Aion 2 that I can share with you following the developer's new stream. This week, let's dive into some news about ReAnimal, a game in development at Tarsier Studios, the team behind Little Nightmares and Little Nightmares 2. On the publishing side, we have THQ Nordic. The game is announced for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Switch 2 and PC. As you can see, we have new information. The game is now also planned for Nintendo's new console. The second piece of news is that the release window is now set for the first quarter of 2026. The studio has also released a brand new trailer for the game, giving us a glimpse of some fresh footage. That's the trailer I'm sharing with you now. ReAnimal is a cooperative adventure and horror game where you play as a brother and sister navigating a nightmarish world to rescue their missing friends. The studio promises a journey more terrifying than ever. While described as a co-op game, it will also be playable solo. You'll need to use your wits to survive and work together to escape the infernal island and the dark secret haunting you. The developers have explained that they're trying new things with this title while staying true to their DNA. For one, the game is fully in 3D this time. As you progress, you'll discover mysterious locations, each with its own story to tell. Although not an open world, ReAnimal will offer a bit more freedom compared to the Little Nightmares series. You'll be able to stray from the main path to explore side areas, some of which may even be hidden and accessible with your makeshift raft. According to the studio, veering off the main path will deepen your understanding of the game's lore and deliver memorable, spine-chilling moments for thrill seekers. ReAnimal is designed to be darker and more unsettling than Little Nightmares, with nightmarish creatures hunting you, promising plenty of stressful moments. The studio also unveiled the physical collector's edition of the game, priced at €199.99. I'm displaying the contents of this edition on your screen so you can easily see what's included. If you're interested, I've included a link to the game's official website in the info bar. Blade & Soul Heroes is a new free-to-play multiplayer and gacha game developed by NCSoft. The studio describes it as an MMORPG with action-packed gameplay. The global release is scheduled for September 2nd, 2025 on PC and mobile platforms. The game has been available in its native country under the name Aion since August 2024. The game blends MMORPG and gacha elements, offering a hybrid experience with real-time tactical combat and turn-based mechanics. Players can collect over 40 heroes through a gacha banner system, with a unique feature for the Western market, a guaranteed SSR high-rarity hero at the start to ease players into the adventure. The combat system emphasizes strategy, with hero synergies, customizable skills, and equipment shared among up to 20 heroes, reducing the grind often criticized in gacha games. NCSoft has made adjustments to appeal to Western audiences, based on feedback from the Korean version. For our version, the hero progression system is clearer, with fewer intrusive tutorials for a smoother experience. Equipment sharing among heroes reduces the need to farm resources for each character. Skills unlock faster early on, and adjustments prevent allies or summons from hindering player movement. The studio noted that the complexity of the progression system was often only understood late in the game, so efforts were made to make it more intuitive from the start. NCSoft emphasizes the absence of pay to win, stating that all content, including heroes and equipment, can be obtained without spending real money. This approach aims to attract players wary of aggressive monetization common in gacha games. Note that I'm sharing the studio's statements, not my opinion on the game. The game will support cross-play across all platforms, allowing PC and mobile players to play together. Optimized for Steam Deck and mobile devices, the graphics offer a smooth visual experience with detailed animations and an art style true to the Blade & Soul universe. Cinematics enhance narrative immersion, and the game includes PvE modes and potentially PvP, though the focus seems to be on cooperative and strategic gameplay. Blade & Soul Heroes aims to appeal to both Blade & Soul fans and new players, particularly MMORPG and gacha enthusiasts. In summary, NCSoft hopes to deliver a rich and accessible experience with Blade & Soul Heroes, featuring polished graphics, tactical gameplay, and adjustments tailored for Western audiences. The game's success will depend on NCSoft's ability to keep its promises, particularly avoiding pay-to-win and ensuring satisfying progression from the early hours. The Brazilian studio Ingen Game held a short closed beta for its MMORPG Drakantos at the end of July. Drakantos is a free-to-play MMO currently in development for the PC platform. The game features retro pixel art graphics. In terms of activities, Drakantos will offer both PvP and PvE, set in a vast open world. Over 20 playable heroes are announced for the game's release. Speaking of the release, no official date has been announced yet. Regarding last month's closed beta, which is the focus of our news, the studio shared an initial overview. One of the main issues reported by beta participants was the unintuitive character control system, specifically complaints centered on movement using directional keys, something the developers themselves said will be completely reworked. In a message posted on the game's official Discord, the studio announced it will implement a traditional WASD movement combined with mouse controls. These changes will allow for smoother aiming, skill usage, and camera rotation. Additionally, the developer listed other improvements in progress, such as reducing input lag, adjustments to prevent allies and summons from obstructing player movement, faster unlocking of skills early in the game, and greater clarity in hero build and progression options. According to the studio, many players didn't grasp the complexity of the character progression system quickly enough. A better presentation of the progression and hero customization systems will be implemented in-game to address this issue. This is the studio's first overview of its MMO Drakantos. If the game interests you, I've included a link to its Steam page in the info bar, where you can follow its updates while awaiting a release date announcement. ArenaNet has unveiled the final 3 elite specializations coming with the next expansion for its MMORPG Guild Wars 2. As a reminder, the upcoming expansion, titled Visions of Eternity, is set to release on October 28th this year and will introduce a new elite specialization for each class in the game. ArenaNet has been revealing 3 elite specializations each week, and I've been providing a brief summary. This time, we finally have details on the last 3 elite specializations covering the Elementalist, Engineer, and Revenant classes. Elementalists can become evokers. These elementalists summon spiritual companions by tapping into the forces of nature, fire, water, air, earth, to restore spiritual harmony interior. Each evoker chooses an element that defines their skills and pet: a fox for fire, an otter for water, a hare for air, and a toad for earth. The pet has 2 skills: a basic skill that charges by using weapon skills, and a powerful skill unlocked after 3 uses of the basic skill. Evokers are versatile, with their role varying based on the chosen element, such as condition damage for fire. For engineers, the new specialization is Amalgam. Amalgams are engineers who use a mercury mold with a special slime that forms a symbiotic bond with its wielder. This lightweight reactive slime adapts to combat needs by absorbing environmental properties, providing offensive and defensive capabilities without lethal risks. Amalgams replace their utility skills with transformation skills, allowing the mold to take various forms like a shield, spikes, or a sword. The elite skill, called Evolution, temporarily fuses the engineer and slime, granting effects like super speed, quickness, or stun. Utility skills and stances alter the amalgam's density or shape, such as turning into a puddle with liquid state. This versatility makes amalgams adaptable fighters capable of adjusting to any combat scenario. As for Revenants, their elite specialization is called Conduit. Conduits are inspired by Raza, a being from the mists freed after the fall of the god Abaddon. Curious and versatile, Raza mastered various martial and magical disciplines in Tyria, but has since vanished. Through Raza's power, Conduits gain access to the legendary entity stance, accompanied by various skills from the era when Raza performed great deeds in Tyria. Each skill in the legendary entity stance has a bonus effect called Resonance, which activates if the associated legend is equipped in the second legend slot. For example, Cosmic Wisdom normally lets you shadow step to your target for a quick attack. However, if the legendary assassin stance is equipped in the second legend slot, this skill becomes a targeted area of effect ability, allowing you to shadow step without a target and strike all nearby enemies. This is a brief summary of the final 3 elite specializations coming to Guild Wars 2. As usual, I've included a link to ArenaNet's official presentation article in the info bar, where you can find more details if you're interested. For those craving even more news, here's our quick news segment. In this part of the video, we'll quickly go through various news updates about different games. To start, let's talk briefly about Genshin Impact, a free-to-play action RPG and gacha game playable solo, but also offering co-op. The small piece of news I wanted to share concerns the end of PlayStation 4 support for Genshin Impact. To clarify, this applies only to the PlayStation 4, not to the PlayStation 5. As of September 10th this year, the PS4 version of Genshin Impact will no longer be available on the PlayStation Store. However, players who already have the game in their library will still be able to reinstall it. Then, starting February 25th, 2026, in-game purchases on PS4 will no longer be available. Finally, on April 8th, 2026, the PS4 version of Genshin Impact will cease to exist. PlayStation 4 players are encouraged to link their Hoyoverse account and switch to other platforms. Next up, let's move on to the MMO Chrono Odyssey, developed by Chrono Studio and published by Kakao Games. Until recently, Kakao Games had announced to its investors through a schedule in its financial report that Chrono Odyssey would launch in the 4th quarter of 2025. However, that was before the release of their latest financial report this August. Now, the updated schedule shared with investors indicates a release for Chrono Odyssey in the fourth quarter of next year, 2026. It's worth noting that since the closed beta held last June, many players were not particularly impressed with Chrono Odyssey's quality. Negative feedback was abundant, and the development studio has promised a long series of upcoming changes for the game, which we've already discussed in previous videos on the channel. Continuing with ArcheAge Chronicles, a game developed by XL Games and also published by Kakao Games. The new game release schedule shared with investors in Kakao Games' August financial report also indicates a change in the release window for ArcheAge Chronicles. This time, the change is much less significant than for Chrono Odyssey. Previously, a release was planned for the first half of 2026, and now the new announced release window is the third quarter of 2026. Moving on to another piece of news, this time about the MMORPG The Elder Scrolls Online. From now until August 12th, you can play this MMO completely for free. This free trial offer is available on PC, Mac and Xbox and the PlayStation consoles. If you already own the game, you can enjoy the ESO Plus subscription for free until August 12th. For new players tempted to try The Elder Scrolls Online for free, I'll include a link in the info bar leading directly to the free trial offer, which, as a reminder, ends on August 12th. Now let's talk about Aska, a game available on PC in early access since June 2024. Aska is a survival game playable solo or in co-op. The game lets you build your ultimate colony alone or with up to 3 friends, claim unexplored lands, and establish a formidable Viking tribe. This August, the game received a brand new update. With this update, you can now tell your villagers how to dress for their jobs. You can also restore vegetation using a shovel. The Market Road creation interface has been revamped, and the game has added a new colony journal. There are also new furniture and other types of decorations for your homes. I won't go into details since this is quick news, but you'll find a link to the full update description in the info bar. And there you have it, dear gamer friends, we've reached the end of this video. Of course, I sincerely hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I invite you to leave a little comment and a thumbs up because yes, it's always appreciated and it also helps with the video's visibility for free. A reminder to newcomers, this new YouTube channel is the English version of my main YouTube channel, which is in French. Every week I'll be sharing news about MMOs and multiplayer games in English on this channel. I hope you will enjoy my content. It's time now to say goodbye. I wish you all fantastic gaming sessions because above all, the goal here is to have fun.